what we have done till now is that we get this data and show it using ng-repeat. But in real world, this data will not be hard-coded. It will be coming from external API or a database. So why not do this? And just get rid of this, and I'll comment this out, save it, and let's see. Now we have no product to display. Okay, what we do this, that I'll get this data from an external API, and what I did that I just design API which is showing the same data, like category, name of the product, price, in stock, the same information is showing, but this time I'm getting this from an API which I designed, and it's running on my local machine. First, what I'll do that I'll show the data from my local machine, and then we'll buy some external API, for example JSON placeholder, and we'll get data from here. Okay, so using this information, what we'll do, we'll create a data service which will fetch this data into Angular and display it here. So what we'll just go to our JavaScript file, and here what I'll do, I'll just add a data service by using app.service, and I'll name it my data service. And what I'll do here, I'll add a function, and I'll pass HTTP as an argument. What I'll do here, I'll call my from here I will call this API, this one, like this. I'll give it some name, for example get products, and it's a function. What this function do is just return that API values using http.get method. What I'll do, that I'll just copy this thing from here, while it's just running on my local machine. I'll copy it from here. So what this function will do, this function will get all the product using HTTP protocol. Okay, now what I'll do, in my controller I'll add reference of this service to my controller as well. In my function, after scope, I'll add a comma and add my service name, my data service. Just make sure that I'll copy paste it to avoid any errors. Okay, what I'll do, that in scope.products variable, instead of this, it will just carry an array, and now we have to fill this array with values which are coming, which we are getting from this service. What we'll do, that we'll define a function here, get all products, for example. We can name it anything. Okay, what I'll do here, I'll use promise get of the JavaScript, and I'll use my data service dot get products. What this will do, that it will get all, now we are calling this, by using this we are calling this service, and all the data will be stored in promise get. And when we we have the data, then what we want to do with this data, we'll define a function again. And for example, what we'll get, we can define anything here, but in order to for better understanding, we'll just name it a product list, that we are getting product list from when we call this function. If this function is successful, if this call is successful, then we're defining a function. And what this function will do, in the scope dot products array, which we have defined here, we'll save product list dot data to this variable. That's all we have to do. And what this function will do, that this will call the service, and the service will call the API and get data for us. Okay, then what we can do, that we can bind this function to any click event, but for this example I'll just call it here, that when this controller starts, this function should be called, and all my products should be stored in this variable. Okay, now we'll go back to our HTML page, and we don't have to change anything because we are using the same script and script file and same variable of the products, but we might have to change these names. If we check here, if we check one record, is start from here, category to here, and the second and record next, and third, fourth, and so on. If we see, for example, name, we have to take care of the case sensitivity of the variables. For example, name is N is capital, price P is capital, in stock I is capital, but our application it was in small letters, so first we just change these, name, price, and what was it, in stock I capital. Okay, if we'll just do this, and we'll come back later on category, and if we just do this and refresh my application, well, now we get these 8 records, 9 records from which was displaying here, and we're getting all that from here. Now for the category, if you I left it, if you see this here, this category is an object, and in this object have an ID and a name. We are not interested in this ID right now, but we're just getting the name. So instead, in order to get this name, we have to access its category dot name. So what we'll do here, category dot name, save it and refresh the application, and here it is, our category is being displayed now with all the products and their prices, and if the product is in stock, then we are getting the add to cart button. So the same information we displayed, we get from the API, we displayed in here. What we do, I'll just repeat it again. In my JavaScript file. What I did, I defined a service. You can define it any name, and there you have to call a function with an HTTP argument. This HTTP will use the http.get method to get the values of that API. And in our controller, what we'll do that we'll define a function. It can be anything, but just give it a proper name so it's easier for you to read when there are a lot of functions. What we do is that we define a promise get, and we call that data service to get the data. If that is call is successful, then what we did, we stored all the data in our array, and then we call that function, and here we use the same ng repeat to get those product. Okay, what we'll do next is we go to this website, JSON placeholder. Well, this is a fake online test API for testing and prototyping. We'll use this and we'll get data from here and show it to our Angular application. So what they did is here they give this example to fetch the data. So this is the URL. So this is to get some record. What we'll do, we'll use this URL and we will get these posts. So there are 100 posts, and so we'll get these posts. We can forget anything else, photos, but just for testing purpose we are getting these posts. Okay, so what to do then? Okay, let's go to our JavaScript file, and in our data service, what we'll do, we'll just define a service, this dot get posts, and this will be a function. And what this function do, it just return an http call, and okay, so here we'll just copy this URL. What was here, till.com, control C and control V slash we're getting the posts slash posts, posts posts. Okay, so this is our call, and what we'll do, we'll define a function same like this in our controller. Function get all posts. Okay, so what we'll do in this function, we'll just give the same promise get like my data service dot get posts, okay, and if we got the post, if it is successful, if our call is successful, then we'll define a function, and in this function we'll store that data into our array. We haven't defined our array yet. Scope dot posts. So this is array. We'll save our data in this array. Scope dot posts is equal to in this section we will be getting post list. So post list dot data. Okay, so we got our data here, and in this same manner I'm just giving this a call, get all posts. So when this controller is called, the data is we're just making a call to the to this function. But in real application we will just bind this function to a click event or any other event. Okay, now let's come back to our HTML page, and should we do it, display it in the table? No, I'm not worried about its layout. I'll just use UL and LI. Okay. In here I use ng repeat post in posts. Okay, but what I'll be getting here, okay, I don't know the variable's name. Post dot, what variable I'll be getting. So if I just click check this, click this, I'll just open it a new tab. I'll already open it, and these are the post data I'm getting in JSON format. Okay, here is user ID, and ID, title, and a body, and the user ID one again. Okay, I'll not use this user ID. I'll use this ID because values are changing 1 and 2 and 3 and so on, and the titles are different. So I'm just getting the ID and the title. So in my application I'll use post.id and another li post.title, I think. Yeah. Okay, this is done. So let's go to our HTML page. Yes. Okay, here we're getting, first we are getting the same old data of our products, but here come the magic. We are getting ID and the title. ID and the title, it should be just showing like 100 posts. Yeah, 100 posts, 99 posts. So what we did, that we are getting all this data from an external link, which is here. So what we did, we used this link in our JavaScript file, and we make a call here, http.get, and we use that link. So we get a data from, and I'll call this function. We define it another function in controller, which is calling this function and binding this data to this variable. Okay, so this is how you make call to an external API and get the data using Angular. Okay, so this is the end of the video. I hope you like it. I'll put let's see what I'll put in the next video. Bye for now.